What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God, my man Sus, and he's back. Welcome to the Gods of Boxing Talk. Now, for this segment, we kind of want to isolate Mr. Sergey Kovalev, and based on the fight that he just had tonight or earlier today, which very odd timing, but the fight that he had earlier today, is he ready for Andre Ward? And we want to actually break down some of his strengths and weaknesses and talk about whether or not he's ready for Andre Ward, how it stacks up against him, whatnot. Mr. Sus,
what up?
You watched the fight today as well as I did.
Yes, sir.
Let me know your assessment, boss.
It was an okay showing for Sergey. I wasn't disgusted or anything like that. It didn't change my mind on the Andre Ward fight.
Didn't change mine either. Didn't change mine either at all.
Okay, absolutely. I didn't even think that. I don't even think this is the Kovalev Ward's gonna see.
Okay.
With that being said, Kovalev pretty much did what he normally does. He's a straight line puncher. He has a very nice straight jab. He has a very nice straight right hand. He'll hook you sometimes, but for the most part, Kovalev utilizes spacing very well.
Yes.
And in this fight, that was the one thing that he was not able to do. He did not use his distancing and his his spacing very well with Isaac Chilemba. Chilemba, with all credit to him, he's a good opponent. And we just talked about this. And when I heard Kovalev was going to fight him, I thought the same thing. He's not a bad opponent to fight. A lot of people were making him seem like he was garbage or some shit like that. But he's not a garbage opponent.
Ranked in the top 10 in all 4 sanctioned bodies.
There we go. See? So I knew that Chilemba was going to at least give Kovalev problems. He was going to at least give him some type of a fight. Now, let me also say this. When you're in the ring with a guy that's just as big or bigger than you, it presents a different dynamic. And that's what Isaac Chilemba presented. He was, I think, a little bit bigger than Kovalev, and his body looked a little bit bigger than Kovalev as well. Okay? And he was actually able to use a pretty good jab on Kovalev too. I've never been big on Kovalev's defense, so I always say as long as you punch at him, you got a good chance at hitting him.
Yeah.
The only thing that Isaac Chilemba didn't do was he didn't let his hands go enough in the fight. And maybe that's respect to Kovalev's power. Maybe that's respect to Kovalev's jab. You know, maybe he wasn't able to get off. But I did see that Kovalev was a little confused about the way Chilemba was standing. Yeah, Chilemba had his hands down, but at the same time, when he would duck, he would throw like an up jab. Whenever Kovalev kind of came in or Kovalev overcommitted a little bit, he would kind of give Kovalev an up jab. He would come back up, jab him again, and he would start moving backwards. That's the only thing that I didn't like, was that he was moving backwards and he was moving to the side. He doesn't have that kind of footwork to be able to do that and get out the way of Kovalev's shots. But I didn't think Kovalev had a bad showing. Like I said, I don't think that, for those that do think he had a bad showing, believe me, he's gonna try his best to be perfect when he goes against Andre Ward. And I know that Ward himself isn't looking at this and saying, oh, see, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. He ain't looking at this and saying that, you know? He's looking at this like, it is what it is, you know? Another thing that I do wanna mention is, for those that may think Kovalev had a bad showing, and I'm not advocating a ride for Kovalev, but I actually do like the guy. Aside from everything, I like him as a fighter.
Right.
But, you know, I'm not dick riding anything like that. I'm just, you know, trying to give a better perspective of things as I've seen them. Another thing is, I don't believe Kovalev fought in Russia since 2011. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's fought in his hometown since 2011.
Look it up, YouTube. Let us know.
Yeah, please, by all means, look it up. Let me know. So when I seen him in the ring, he looked a tad bit nervous.
Okay.
And I think that was because he was fighting in front of his hometown, and he wanted to give a very, very, very stern, very, very good showing of himself. Okay. And I think he may have put a little bit too much emphasis on that. he was still able to do what he normally does, and that's land that big fucking right hand and drop you when he touches you flush with it. So, like I said, I didn't think it was a horrible showing. I just thought he was in there with a guy that was game, a guy that was durable, and a guy that, is a bit credible from the rankings. Yeah. So it is what it is. I'm still looking forward to him fighting Ward. I still think that's going to be a very hard fight. For whatever reason, when Kovalev is in the States, he looks much, much, much more comfortable in the ring. Like I said, it could be a testament to him not being in Russia him not fighting in Russia since 2011. But in the States, the guy is comfortable when he's in the ring. I don't think he'll have those type of jitters. I think when he fights Ward, he'll let things come to him naturally like he does against all his other opponents.
What a day has come. I disagree with your motherfucking ass. Man. I agree with about 30% of what you're saying. Okay. And that is that he did not have a terrible showing. I agree with that. There's a lot of people out there who are saying, oh, what the fuck? He did knock Isaac Chilemba out. This dude's a bum. First of all, Isaac Chilemba is not a bum. Okay. Isaac Chilemba has 4 losses. All right. He's never been knocked out. He's fought a lot of power punches in his career. He actually took the guy that I believe, if Adonis Stevenson actually gives him a title shot, because he is his mandatory, and Alida Alvarez, I believe Alida Alvarez beats Adonis Stevenson. Isaac Chilemba took him to 12 straight rounds, and it ended up being a majority decision. So he's a tough competitor. Actually, Isaac Chilemba is a better fighter than Alexander Brand is. He's a more credible opponent than Alexander Brand. So this guy wasn't a bum by any means. I did not expect Sergey Kovalev to knock him out. I expect Kovalev to win, but I sure as hell did not expect him to knock Isaac Chilemba out. Nobody has. Okay, and Sergey Kovalev's no fucking exception. All right. What I do disagree with is the fact that Andre Ward is sitting at the crib like, I'm gonna beat this motherfucker's ass. He is sitting at the crib like, yo, when I see this motherfucker in November, lights out, B. Because if he saw the same shit that I saw, yo. Now, one thing I didn't think about was how you said it was his first fight in Russia in X amount of time. Yeah. And he could be very nervous. The nervous jitters could have gotten to him. My only criticism of that, not criticism, but my objection to that would be that he has fought under the lights, a much broader audience, more harder competition in Bernard Hopkins and John Pascal than Isaac Chilemba in front of a harsher crowd. When I say harsher crowd, I mean 10,000 people compared to 800. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but basically he's had higher profile fights, and he did well in those fights. I just don't understand why he would go back to Russia, his hometown, in front of a smaller crowd and have the jitters. But it's a possibility. Okay. His strengths. I'm gonna break down his strengths and weaknesses, and then I'm gonna go into a couple things that I've seen in the fight. Strengths. Kovalev has an excellent fucking jab to the head and the body, man. Absolutely. I mean, his jab is stiff as fuck. His jab is equivalent to a goddamn other fighter's straight right or straight left hands, respective to whatever stance they fight out of. Stiff ass jab. He throws it to the head and to the body. He usually sets up the straight right hand with that jab, okay? Which goes into my next strength, the 1-2 combination. If he hits you with that straight right hand under any circumstance, if it hits flush, you gonna feel it. Yes, you either go to sleep, you get rocked, or it's gonna wake you up. You gonna be like, oh shit, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to, what's my man, your lookalike at 160. Fuck. He fought Kovalev. Curtis Stevens. You're gonna get the Curtis Stevens, motherfucker. You're gonna get the Curtis Stevens phase, B. You know what I'm saying? Excellent fucking 1-2 combination. He's mastered that shit. Very reminiscent of Kelly Pavlik in that aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Good comparison.
Another strength. Excellent at forcing opponents against the ropes. That is his main point of attack. Notice people, when he's in the middle of the ring, he's really jabbing. He's feinting. He doesn't do a lot of head movement, but he does a lot of body movement. And he's doing this a lot. And he's feinting with the jab, or he's feinting with the right. But he's mainly coming with that jab and then setting up with the right. The right actually pushes you up against the ropes. When he gets you up against the ropes, that's when he unleashes a variety of punches, a variety of combinations. He'll throw hooks to the body. He'll throw hooks to the head. I even seen in this fight, he threw a couple uppercuts. He led with a couple uppercuts when Isaac Chilemba was up against the ropes. And that's another strength of his punch variation. Weaknesses. And we're talking about Andre Ward, people. This is probably the most intelligent fighter in boxing right now with the absence of Floyd Mayweather. And with Floyd Mayweather there, there's a possibility that he may have been just as intelligent. You could definitely compare the two, and boxing enthusiasts have compared the two in the past, right?
Yep.
He keeps his hands too fucking low.
Yes.
And he is so susceptible to the jab. Dude, Isaac Chilemba, his jab was fucking money, B. It was money. It was money to the point where I feel his jab was almost just as effective or even more effective than Sergey Kovalev. Reason being, Kovalev is coming forward. Isaac Chilemba throws a jab over his jab almost every single fucking time. And when he does that, he lands it. That's something that Andre Ward has mastered, throwing the jab over your jab, okay?
Yep.
Another thing, he can be countered going over the jab, which is exactly what I said. Basically, I think it was round 6. Kovalev throws a jab. Chilemba steps in, smothering the punch, all right? And once Kovalev threw the jab, he didn't bring his hands back up to here. He stayed like this. He was still bringing his hands back after throwing it to the body. Chilemba lands a nice-ass left hook that backs Kovalev up. That was in round 6, okay? That type of shit right there, Andre Ward is going to be doing that for 12 fucking rounds. Not necessarily the same sequence. What I'm saying to you people is he's going to smother Kovalev's punches. Notice, Kovalev is not an inside fighter. He likes to have mid-range distance, so he can get that straight right hand off. Then when he gets you up against the ropes, notice he doesn't just come in at you like Sean Porter and just ha. He's back and he's throwing hooks from what? Mid-range distance. He's showing punch variation from mid-range distance. Andre Ward is going to step into that and allow a lot of his punches to go around him, or he's just going to move his head. The punch is going to go beside him, okay? That's the type of shit Andre Ward's going to be doing, all right? His next one, he's a bit too stiff, in my opinion. His legs, to me, look stiff, man. When he was moving forward, it was more like he was, like, it looked like we were pushing a statue. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were pushing a statue. Now, mind you, again, he does show subtle movement to the upper torso. He is doing this, but his head is completely stiff, okay? And his legs are completely stiff. There were times that Isaac Chilemba is going over to his jab with his own jab, and Kovalev jumps back or steps back, but that's few and far in between. Majority of the time, he is standing stiff while he's coming forward to his opponent. That's not a good look when you're fighting a guy like Andre Ward, because Andre Ward can give you angles, and I'll get into that in a minute. Andre Ward doesn't have a style. He has multiple styles ingrained in one, okay? The one style that he will use to get around Kovalev's stiffness is the style of Salvador Sanchez, giving you angles. And while he's giving you angles, he's turning you. That's what Salvador Sanchez was a master at. Y'all motherfuckers don't know who Salvador Sanchez is. I know we got a lot of casuals watching this video. He is probably the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. If he would have never died at 23, he definitely would have surpassed Julio Cesar Chavez, in my opinion. All right, next. No head movement, minimal upper body movement. That's what I said before. So, a couple key things I said. Round 7, Isaac Chilemba. He got caught with his hands down after taking a left hook to the liver by Sergey Kovalev. And that was the knockdown round, right?
Yep.
Problem with that is